A Thursday edition. A Thursday edition.
Friday Eve.
Friday
Shall
Eve.
we?
When you said Friday, I got excited. I thought, oh, wait, am I wrong? Is it Friday? No, Friday Eve.
So ready for the weekend.
I'm on the top. I'm in the top square.
Yeah, look at you up there. Look at you up there in the top square. Megan, our director this morning, maybe there's a point during the show where you can flip that around and put Brenda on the top, or maybe me on the top. Maybe we could take turns being the top dog, so to speak.
No, I paid $20.
Is that what it was? All right, you can keep the top spot.
It's the going rate.
Have that top spot, Rod. So if you're clicking on this edition of Sunrise Extra, you probably saw the little blurb, as we call it, above the video that explains what we're talking about today. And now that we're kicking it off, I feel like Brenda and I are starting to have some reservations about this topic. So I'm going to go back, Rod, to about an hour ago when we came up with this topic.
Yeah, explain how it happened.
So today there was a story on the Sunrise TV program about Girl Scout cookie sales. And booth sales are going to come back this year. They're going to look a little different than years past, but they're trying it again, even though we have this ongoing COVID surge happening. And so as we were sharing this story on the TV show, one of our producers, Cassie Taylor, told us that she used to be a Girl Scout. In fact, she sent us a picture of when she was a brownie.
For 13 years. Yeah.
And great picture Cassie shared with us that we're not sharing with you now. I apologize. And then Cassie told us that her trick during cookie sale season was to sell the cookies at the bar where her mom worked. And I thought, were you going there at like 2 o'clock in the morning when they were letting everyone out of the bar as they were intoxicated? And you thought, well, I'll make some big sales on these people.
Guards are down.
And she said, no, it was during, like, regular hours, if you will, kid-friendly hours, but, no bar is really kid-friendly. Yet little Cassie was in there selling her Girl Scout cookies, and she said making a killing doing it.
So that's the secret. Not being out in front of Safeway, but being in a bar somewhere.
And then I said to Drew, my gosh, because then he weighed in with his story. I said, you have a story about absolutely everything. It doesn't matter what the topic is. You have had a crazy life, and you have a story to go along with it.
So sometimes,
I feel sheltered compared to you.
Sometimes I feel like when Nina's here, she wants to keep this thing very news-oriented, which is fine, she's journalist first. And I feel like, Brenda, you are also journalist first, but yet you seem more comfortable deviating from news topics and talking about something a little deeper.
Because you are, well, yeah, that too. I do like that. But you are highly entertaining. I giggle. I get paid to giggle. I mean, come on. If you can laugh at work, yes, I'm all in.
So, Rod, you don't know the story yet. I'll share it with you and our viewers. I shared it with Brenda earlier. So when Cassie, our producer, talks about her mom working at a bar and selling Girl Scout cookies there, it just made me think of something I haven't thought about in decades, probably. But it involved a bar near where I grew up and my mom. Completely different story, though. I told Brenda, I said, man, that reminds me of the time when I was probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6, and my mom drugged me to this bar so that she could literally catch my dad in the act of cheating on her.
What?
Hey, the blurb at the top of this Sunrise Extra says, deep, dark parenting secrets. And I hope my mom doesn't mind me sharing this one. And I don't have many of the details to share with you because, again, I was, I think, 5 or 6, super young. It's like a foggy memory, but it came roaring back to the front of my head this morning when Cassie mentioned mom and bar. And yeah, I guess my dad was having, shall we say, affairs of his heart. Outside the home, and
Is that
so
the body part?
I kind of just remember asking my mom, "What are we doing here? Where are we? What are we doing here? Why am I here?" And like my dad came out, and he was really mad. I don't think he had a woman with him, but he came out of that bar and he was mad that my mom was there and that I was there, and he was kind of blowing her off, and I was like, "Oh boy, this isn't good for anybody." That's the end of the story because I really cannot tell you. I don't know what happened beyond that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their marriage didn't last. I guess I could tell you that. But there were a whole host of reasons for that.
Now they're happy.
So I said to Brenda, geez, can we do a whole segment on deep, dark parenting secrets?
And I was like, I love it. Yes, I love it.
And a lot of times our viewers will share stories about whether it's breakups or getting fired from jobs. When we ask you for like those personal stories, you often come through with great antidotes. So as they do that,
anecdotes.
What did I say?
Antidotes.
I've been having a hard time speaking all morning long. Great
I'm such
anecdotes.
a word nerd. I apologize.
It's fine. Rod, share yours real quick.
Oh, yeah, go.
Well, mine's so innocent compared to that. You mean make something up or tell you the story that I have?
Yeah,
tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so really I have stories that my mother likes to tell about me when I was a young kid. And one of the stories that my mom is her go-to was, and I'm guessing I was around probably kindergarten age, maybe around 5 or 6, somewhere in there. And it's a piano recital, and I've been taking lessons. And apparently, I was sitting on the piano bench with the parents in the audience, and apparently I forgot what the first note was of the piece I was supposed to play, so I couldn't, I didn't know what key to hit. And then I just shouted out and started crying. He goes, "My mommy wouldn't let me practice. I don't know my piece." I guess my mother just melts in the audience. And then the teacher comes up and hits the first key to the piece. And as soon as the teacher hit the first key, I was off and running.
Nice.
But my mom tells that story, me calling her out, which I'm assuming was not true.
That's what I was wondering.
My mother allowed me to practice. My mom was the church organist when I was a kid.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
So that's a high bar to follow, right? Somebody who does it and does it well.
But you threw your mom under the bus where she didn't even belong because it wasn't true. She did give you the time to practice. You just made that up.
So apparently so, yes. Not as scandalous as your story, Mr. Carney.
Well,
that's my story.
It's not even a parenting story. I mean, it's a Rod story.
Well, it's his
Deep,
parent,
dark
though.
Rod stories.
Something funny. We can branch out as well. I'm sure I have lots and lots of things because my kids are older. I'm like, my gosh, I've done some crazy things down through the years. So I had to text my daughter this morning and ask her, I said, did I ever do anything like strange or funny or weird or, fill in the blank, anything that you can think of? And she knew exactly why I was asking. She goes, I think most of the stories are not Sunrise Extra appropriate. But she did come up with one. And my daughter and I are kind of similar in sense of humor, and so we end up getting in the most inane conversations, and then the two of us dissolve into like stomach splitting laughter. I don't think anybody else thinks they're particularly funny, but we think they're hilarious. So she has taken to writing some of our exchanges down on her phone, and then she sends it to her friend Sydney, because they both think I'm weird. But this one is titled Chihuly or Child. So I'm just going to read you the debrief.
All right.
Me, so mom. Just FYI, I say, if you ever get super wealthy, I want you to buy me a Chihuly. One of those blown glass sculptures. Jaden, well, if I ever decide I don't want kids, I'll buy you a Chihuly. Mom nods. I could sacrifice a grandchild for a Chihuly.
Wow. That's what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Those were your words?
Yeah, that's the
She wasn't
verbatim.
misquoting you?
No. I did say that. I do love Chihulis. Those beautiful, they have them in Vegas.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
Yeah.
So, Rod, I can't really share, we've discovered, I can't really share stories about me as a parent and some of the dark secrets I have in raising my kids now to 14 years of age. Last week on Sunrise, we covered a topic, and I was talking about some things that have happened in my home involving my kids, and it turns out that one of their classmates' parents was watching Sunrise Extra at the time, as their classmate was also watching.
Yeah.
Super embarrassing to them. I got a talking to when I went home that day. I was scolded.
You probably shouldn't even retell this.
Well, I'm not going to retell the whole thing. I'm just saying they just told me stop talking about us on the stream.
I know you're talking about them.
No, I'm talking about them loosely with nothing specific.
Help you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda. Well, I had to explain why I'm not going to share some. I told Brenda this funny story that's pretty terrible as a parent that happened when they were like 5, but she goes, you can't. So we've determined, Rod, that I'm not sharing any more stories about my kids until they're at least out of high school. Okay?
I know. I feel like the statute of limitations has to run out. Then when they're adults, they won't care what you say. You'll probably be long gone from here by then.
Yeah.
Megan Renee Keith says, my mom would bring a cowbell to my middle school basketball games.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
I saw that, Megan, and that's embarrassing.
No, I like it.
That's embarrassing when you're the kid with the mom.
People ring
She just told me
bells and stuff. I mean,
Megan just told us, Rod, that she quit sports basically because of the cowbell. She went into theater.
Oh, come on. Yeah, doing that at a theater, that'd be a little more ruckus than a basketball game, I guess.
So moms and dads at sporting events can get a little crazy. And I do remember, my daughter played soccer all the time, and we would put our little lawn chairs right up, whatever the venue was, the field. Our lawn chairs were basically right on the other side of the line. And, you're watching the little girls run by and whatnot. And so, they always have some nice young person there refereeing those things. But I would get totally into the games. And if they would stop out, or step out of bounds, I feel like I was the ref and I'd go, out! And then lo and behold, you know, sometimes I think it would work. The ref would go out, whistle.
Yeah.
And my God, I'm sure that Jaden was like, dear God, Mom, can you just be quiet?
I do remember, Brenda, Little League. I played Little League baseball. I don't know, maybe I was 7, 8, somewhere in there at the time. My father would umpire, right? And he was the home plate ump that game. The other team is sliding into home trying to score a run. And my father called the person safe. I don't know if it was, it's not like we have instant replay, but apparently the overwhelming feeling of the families, the people in the stands, was that it was absolute horrifically wrong call. And I remember that, you know, and I remember kind of it's kind of sad, but the shaming for days after that, like on the school playground, people going, you know, basically calling my father names.
Oh, that's awful.
That is awful.
I feel like I'm wilting on the inside hearing that.
I do remember that, you know.
I remember, oh, geez, here I go. I'm going to share a story. I think this is safe.
Okay.
My gosh. My gosh. But this goes back a few years, probably when the kids were like 7 years old, but I remember them telling me that like so-and-so said, you're a terrible baseball coach. Like I was coaching their little baseball team when they were like 7, and we played another friend of theirs on another team, and I guess after the game, that kid told my boys, your dad stinks as a coach. I'm like, huh? Did you say anything back to him? Did you defend my honor?
Oh,
no,
my goodness.
No. You seen that big story from Willie Huey?
Oh, no, I haven't seen that yet.
All right. Willie,
it's not updating.
I'm trusting your judgment on your storytelling. I only read the first 2 lines. I'll read the rest cold.
Yeah.
Because Willie Huey is a fantastic contributor to Sunrise Extra. Here we go. Willie says, in the late 70s, my dad was into muscle cars. Yeah. He would take me to Burger King, then down to the country airport, and he would drag race his friends on the tarmac. With him in the back of the car. With Willie in the back of the car. Mom was none the wiser till one day, Dad had a slam on the brakes, and the straw from my soda pierced the roof of my mouth. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
He said, Dad didn't want to take me to the hospital, so we went home, and Mom had to remove the straw. Of course, our story was that I fell. Mom found out the truth years later. Now that is a deep, dark parenting secret coming from the dad of Willie Huey.
Willie, and you could keep that secret? I don't know if I could have kept that secret.
Can you imagine the straw, he says, was shoved into the roof of his mouth so hard it stuck there? That's gross, Willie.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Janice Klein,
I like
stripling. And you know what? This isn't a bad idea, so you can kind of do whatever you like, either successes or failures. But she says, what about turning this around and talking about parenting successes? So if you have some of those, share them too. I like Christy Shirk. She says, that is what being a parent is about. We're supposed to embarrass our kids and grandchildren. Yeah. That's funny.
Here's a parent success story.
Okay.
So when my brother and I would do something, you know, really bad, it could be any number of things. The harsh punishment when we had done something really bad was we would have to spend our entire Saturdays cleaning out the garage. And I swear my dad, before he'd go to bed Friday night, would just clutter up the garage. But we would have to spend our entire, which means you're not getting to play with your friends. You know, we grew up in a neighborhood, you jumped on your bike and you rode and you know, met up with all your friends. We'd spend all day in the garage cleaning it up. And I remember it was horrible because you were missing out on a day with your friends. But that was a parent success story because it was a punishment that really made us think about what we were doing, and eventually we never did anything bad enough to be stuck in the garage on a Saturday. That's a parenting success story.
That totally is. Yeah. I mean, my parents had the patience of Job. I was a mouthy child, especially when I was in middle school, and I do feel like I got way better than I deserve in that regard. Like, because I was a sneaky, mouthy child, and literally my kids, well, sometimes they would be so upfront. I can remember saying to Zach when he was, I don't even remember how old, like, can you just have the decency to lie to me? Because honestly, I'm not sure my little heart can take all this. I never told my parents any of that. And then after you're fine, we'll talk about it long after it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my kids were they said what was on their mind.
A quick comment, or a quick comment about a comment that you read earlier, Brenda, from Janice, when she asked, what about turning it around and talking about parenting successes? I feel like we're seeing all that already on Facebook. If you're watching us on the Facebook stream, that's what people do on Facebook already, right? They just blast about all the great things happening in their lives, right, in their kids' lives, and it's all like, you know, hunky-dory and things are great, and look at us, And not to poo-poo completely on your suggestion, because I understand there is a benefit to sharing some successes and maybe people can learn from them. But I thought the point of this was, hey, listen, no one wants to ever talk about the things that go wrong or the things that they're not proud of. This is like the reality behind that front. Yes, we all have some successes as well, but I'm going to share one more from a viewer.
Okay, go ahead.
It sounded pretty tame at first, and I thought, oh yeah, we've all kind of done that, but I like the twist she has here at the end. One of our favorites, Shireen Miller Simmons.
Hey.
She says, oh no, that was earlier from Shireen. I'm sorry, Shireen, still love you though. This one came from, oh gosh, where did it go now? It was about Halloween candy. I just want to give credit to the right person. Are you kidding me? I have like all these, oh, here it is, here it is. Connie Staub Miller, another one of our favorites. Yeah. Connie says, like every parent out there, eating all the kids' best Halloween candy, and, this is the part I liked, blaming it on their dad.
Blaming it on dad.
So we've all done that, right? We've all eaten the candy that our kids bring home on Halloween, but I like this. She took it to another level and said, no, I didn't do it. Your dad did it.
I've not done that, by the way.
What?
I've not stolen my child's Halloween candy.
I don't consider it stealing. It's in our house. It's now ours.
I bought it. That was always kind of, hey, my house, my rules.
Right.
I heard that a lot from my parents.
Well, yeah, I remember hearing that.
Definitely.
Renee Robertson, she says on New Year's Eve, we used to have our kids watch the ball drop in Times Square at 9 p.m. and tell them it was midnight, then put them to bed, and then we would stay up until midnight and properly ring in the new year. It's not all that deep and dark, but deceptive, she says indeed.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Michael, I like this. He goes, make your kids hug each other for 10 minutes when they won't stop fighting with each other.
Oh, that's tough punishment right there. That's a long time, 10 minutes?
That is a long time.
Oh, wow.
Talking about a weird kind of parenting success, but this thing actually worked. What Mia used to do when the boys were throwing like tantrums, this is way back in the day, she would actually record them on her phone and play them back to the boys.
Oh, that's good.
Kind of like, I think it worked. To some degree, and now they were super young. I mean, they're having temper tantrums, but there was, some of those can get so bad, you really don't know how to deal with them as a parent. And her solution was, I'm not going to intervene at this point. I'm just going to record it and let them see, how crazy this is later.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That never occurred to me. And one more from Christy Shirk. She says, I went and sat with my grandson in high school. He never got in trouble again.
Yeah,
Grandma came to school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard of parents doing that.
Rod, Grandpa Kim does a lot of things around your house. I'm guessing he doesn't go to school with your daughter, though, and sit in on class.
No. I mean, he'll take Natasha to school and pick her up every now and then, but yeah.
He's not going to sit there for the school day.
She did interview him. This was a recent project they were supposed to do. It was a crazy long interview. It was like 20 minutes or something like that. I thought it was really long, the assignment. And anyway, she talked to Grandpa Kim about some life experiences, including he served while he was a resident. He's South Korean, and he served in the Korean War as a South Korean. She talked to him about that. So Grandpa Kim did make it into the classroom in terms of the video presentation of those assignments.
I love that generational passing on the knowledge. That's good.
20 minutes is a long time, by the way. Brenda, you're probably not paying attention to the clock because you're not doing the Today Show cut-ins.
Oh, it is about time, isn't it?
Yes.
It's well beyond time.
That's you today.
Yes, we do have to break. Today's Show cut-ins coming up this morning here. So we say goodbye, and we say we'll see you tomorrow on Sunrise Extra.